it used to. The Taraweeh prayers you can only be held privately, individually, no more mosque congregational prayers, public tafsir, Ramadan lecture, and all other things associated with Ramadan are not going to be there, or are not there so far as we speak, and it's not likely that it's going to change till the end of Ramadan. And so Laylatul Qadr, we have many people, many organizations and Islamic foundations plan to have to actually look for the night of glory. It's not going to be there. And so in the face of COVID-19, how should Muslims tackle this year's Ramadan? That is the discussion that we're going to be having this morning. So the topic we are going to be looking at is there, Ramadan in the face of COVID-19. Once again, you're welcome. My name is Akim Makisude. Charity James is still here. In the studio, we have two gentlemen, and they're actually scholar in this Islamic discussion we'll be talking about. We have Kozim Sanusi, who is an Islamic scholar. He's on this journey for so long, and he has in-depth on the topic we'll be discussing. We have also Ustaz Jubril Lawal, who is a missioner Islamic Youth League. They will be telling us what Muslims at this critical point needs to know about Ramadan in the face of COVID-19 pandemic. How should we go about it? What should we do? And what are the necessary steps we need to take at this moment? I will be starting with Ustaz Jubril Lawal. Ramadan is here, and today is day 6. Do we envisage that Muslims should at some point agitate to go? We know that a gathering at some point, especially this night of glory, is essential when there was no COVID-19. At this moment, do you think it is essential too?
I seek refuge with Allah, the owner, the creator, the benefactor of humanity. All powers belongs to him. He knows the seen and the unseen. He knows what had been and what will be. And that's why he's Allah. I say good morning to all our viewers at home, and salam alaikum to the Muslims among us. Nobody envisaged that Corona will come. Nobody. You know, people predicting could have said, okay, by next year, this and that will happen. All those that are giving us forecast. So, as Muslims, normally we are not even excited to even do that anyway. Looking into the crystal ball or trying to gauge what the future will bring about is not a thing Muslims should do. So, we never anticipated it. But as Muslims, we know that whatever comes our way, it is the will of Allah. So when Ramadan was coming and we started 2020 and the issue of Corona came up, a number of us saw it like it's not a thing that will just come in a jiffy and go away. So when it kept on being stay at home, you know, just gathering is not allowed and etc. And the two main mosques, our holy site in Mecca, you know, were locked up. And the announcement came that people won't come for lesser Hajj, etc. We knew it's going to be a different Ramadan. But alhamdulillah, as Allah will have it, our religion provides for a lot of things. So there are a lot of injunctions that we have in the Quran. There are these of our Prophet. There are these means the sayings of our Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which normally is like as envisaged that when plague happens, what do we do? And one of such is that we have the liberty to pray in our homes. That is what the Quran says. So when they say pray at home, it didn't really come too much like how to do it, because normally even before then, we have injunctions in the tenet of our religion that allows us to pray at home. And Ramadan, yes. Talking of Night of Glory, Laylatul Qadr, that's even still far away. But Ramadan in itself as a whole program, the 30 days program for Muslims, yes, COVID-19 has really impacted it in this part of our world. In our climes, Ramadan period is, and I know it has affected you too, your commercials regarding lectures, etc. I know you might not have hit the peak of it, etc. So it's like that with us in all ramifications. Having to go to people's home to breakfast, all the funfair that normally accompanies Ramadan in our climb. COVID-19 has not allowed that to happen. But it has not in any way reduced the reward that we're going to, because ordinarily, a number of those things that we bring into them are actually just to encourage people. It is not as if really we won't have the benefit of Ramadan. And there have been a lot of programs that people have brought up, to make up for what we are missing in Ramadan. In a nutshell, COVID-19 actually impacted the way we go about Ramadan in Nigeria, but had not impacted the spirituality and the reward. There are a lot of benefits that we even have because COVID-19 is around and the stay-at-home order comes up. Maybe because of the program we'll get there.
Okay. I'd like Mr. Sanusi, or is it Alaji? Mr. Sanusi. I'll be talking about the gathering now. Okay. We know that some Muslims, before COVID-19, ensure that they go to mosque to pray. They must get to that mosque daily to pray, especially in Ramadan. Is there any reward for going to mosque to pray and praying at home at this moment?
Thank you very much. Let me stand on the preambles that my elder brother used in introducing himself and, intro into the discussion. Yes, you have given us two different scenarios. Before pre-COVID-19 and COVID-19 proper now. Hopefully we'll have a post-COVID-19 sooner than we expect, inshallah. Yes, before COVID-19, before it became this viral, praying in the mosque, especially for adult male, is more rewarding. In fact, some scholars, say that it is compulsory to pray in the mosque, especially the 5 daily prayers, which are compulsory. But for the, the risk of spreading the infection, the disease, because we know that one of the factors that aids the spread of this disease is the clustering of people, gathering of people, because it's contagious disease. So the best way, and the way we pray in the mosque, there is no way you could maintain the social distance rule, in the mosque, because if you need to arrange yourself in a congregation, for our normal prayers in the mosque, we would have to stand side by side. So there has to be bodily contacts. And if there has to be bodily contacts, it means that we can't, implement the social distancing rule as it is. But because the purpose of this, that the leadership in the land, towing the line of government, asks our adherents, our Muslim members, our community to stay at home and pray. What does that now inform? Because the question is, does it reduce the reward? Is one more rewarding than the other? No, it does not. Like my brother had said, as soon as there is a particular prevalent circumstance in the land, and there is a sanction from the leadership, everything now toes the line of that sanction. If there are certain acts and actions that we hitherto were doing, and those sanctions have kind of changed the color or how those things are done, it still does not reduce the reward. In fact, you get more reward for, at first, listening to your leaders, following the laws of the orders of your leaders, and then the other reward of still doing the salat as it's supposed to be done. That salat is not holding in the mosque, in congregation, does not restrict us from doing it in our homes. I mean, families have now had the opportunity of praying together, and the reward is still very immense.
Okay, Ustaz Jibril Awal, fortunately, you're one of those that we normally see or listen to your voice during the Ramadan period, so to say. That is where but we know the challenge now, just like you said. Those sponsorship programs are not as many as we normally have. So let me go to one of the basics of Ramadan, which is tafsir. And we know that it's a community team. That's talking about tafsir. Nearly all mosques will have planned and, of course, called their congregation to. Now, which way out now for tafsir? In two ways. For the learned and, of course, for the locals. You know what I mean? The learner will say, okay, we can go online, we can use vertical, but what happens again to the RTBs who are used to the tafsir? How do they go about it in this COVID-19 period?
Thank you so much. It's so unfortunate what is happening in our clients. I kept on referring to our clients because in some other clients, what we see as a challenge here is not a challenge over there. Let me first and foremost mention why the Quran is given, prominence, in Ramadan. The month of Ramadan is the month which Quran was born, if you can put that way. The birth month of Ramadan, of the Quran is Ramadan. So normally we have been encouraged by various sayings of our Prophet to, read the Quran, so much. That is why. And because our fathers in our clients realize that not everybody have that opportunity of being able to recite the Quran. It's now Arabic knowledge is becoming so widespread among our young ones. Like I used to tell my children, any one of you that does not know how to read and write Arabic will be, a second-class citizen in the mosque of the future, because everybody will be able to read and write Arabic. So if you can't, they will just put you one side. So, but in those days, with our fathers, it wasn't like that. These were days when they used like 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 years to know how to read the Quran. So it wasn't easy learning the Quran and reading the Quran. So they brought about the ingenuity of bringing tafsir, so that people come and everybody come to listen to the Quran and they get the reward of reading the Quran. That's why I said our client brings about the peculiarity, to our situation. In other clients, it might not be like that. People will still stay at home and read the Quran. Now to your question, how do we do it? Yes, I agree with you. There are a lot of online sessions going on. A lot of online sessions are going on. Quite a number of organizations are doing their program online. Even at our organization, our normal Sunday program is now being, is not a thing that we do online, but for the locals, what I'm going to advise, because not all of them could easily, go online and use the phone. Apart from that, the cost of data is another thing you need to look at. It's more of an elitist thing, when you look at it. So what I've advised for the locals, for other people who could not have direct access, to online, Quran tafsir is, a lot of recordings are being made that are being shared. They should endeavor to listen to some of those ones that are being shared, whether on Facebook and other ones. Apart from that, then the YouTube program that comes on radio. For once, some of us that used to attack the volume of program that comes on radio in Ramadan, for once we are keeping quiet. Right. I think this time around, this thing is serving some purposes in our life. So we've been advising them, listen to these radio programs, listen to the lectures that you have there, that is there. Then we equally advise them, if you can't read the Quran, ensure the little of the Quran that you know, ensure you read them in your Nawafil. When you do your Tarawih, or Tahajjud in the night, make sure you read them, and you're going to get the reward of, a person that has read the Quran. There are so many chapters of the Quran. When you even just last 10 chapters of the Quran you can read, or even Surah Al-Ikhlas, read it 3 times. You have the reward of a person that has read the entire Quran. It's the solid tradition of the Prophet. This is what I've been, telling them, to replace the reward you will get. But we can't replace that activity. We can't replace that excitement. We can't replace that, that socialization. It can't really be replaced.
All right, let me come to Ustaz Sanusi. Ustaz Sanusi, one of the very many important programs of Ramadan each year is for those who can do it, and of course, even from the government angle, the congregational iftar. Every organization have a day for iftar, and knows that we actually invited to one family iftar or not, where one family could actually do iftar for 50 people, for 100 people, government for a larger number of people, organizations do have their own iftar. What should be the focus now? Definitely The iftar was serving a purpose. We are not equal. The food served during the iftar that we're talking about normally come in handy. You see people very happy, and of course it shows love and everything. What form must it take now in the face of COVID-19?
Yes, like I said the other time, yes, COVID-19, Ramadan, some things will change slightly. You know, the color, the approach will change definitely. But the intent, you know, the aim doesn't necessarily have to change. In fact, it has to be more intensified right now, because if the reason why we're doing iftar, you know, giving food to people in Ramadan is the spirit of Ramadan, the spirit of sharing. Is one salient act of Ramadan, to give, to share. Charity is a critical aspect of Ramadan, of the fast. So if we were giving food, cooked food, and we're having those gatherings initially, I think it doesn't stop us from still packaging those uncooked food now. Surely now, before Ramadan, you know, COVID-19 relief packages became very viral. And like some of us, we joke, you know, behind the scene, if I can say that now, that even before the relief packages came in, we were doing relief packages in Islam. You know, we were doing relief packages every Ramadan. So families will give people that they know cannot, you know, less privileged in the society that they know, food, sometimes uncooked. Yeah. Sometimes provisions, even before the fast or during the fast. So it means that if we were doing that before and we still have the means now, it's just we need to just repackage the way we go about it. Look at those in our community that you know, need these food items, and then package them as raw as they are, and then give them so that they can also, you know, be happy and enjoy the Ramadan.
Okay, Ustaz Lawal, I'll be coming to you, and this aspect of alms giving is so crucial in Ramadan than every other period. Am I right?
Right.
Okay. So I want to know, you know, when we go to mosque, we see some vulnerables queue up at the mosque entrances. Some you don't know where they live, and you must give something to them to show love to them. At this period, what happens to those people? What do you think?
Thank you so much. If there's anything all of us have noticed all over the world, it is that COVID-19 has come to change a lot of things about our lives. Even the Northerners are realizing that Al-Manjari system that we have been shouting all over the world that is not in Islam, they are beginning to realize it is no longer an asset for them, that it's a burden. And that is how I want to take your question.
Okay.
Yeah, Muslims normally should give charity. It's just like in the month of Ramadan, everything that we do is increased, and this is the reason. You see, in Ramadan, what you do outside Ramadan, you get 10 reward. In Ramadan, you get like 30 reward. Okay. So normally, what you have been doing before, when you get to Ramadan, you want to increase it. Because we are told by the tenet of our religion, in literature of our religions, that for you to gain access into paradise, heaven, Al-Jannah, Jannatul Firdaus, Jannatul Adin, the Garden of Eden, you know, the weight of your good deed must be very heavy compared to the weight of your, you know, other deeds. I don't want to use the word evil deeds, but the other ones.
Not so good.
Yes, not good. So the only way you could get it done is to ensure that every opportunity that you have, you increase, you know, good deeds. And in Ramadan, it's like when you are playing a game and they said, this one, when you bring it about, is a joker. It gives you times 10 of the reward. That's what Ramadan does for us. And that's why I see that, you know, what people really want to get the benefit of Ramadan. They like, maybe, you know, do one before Ramadan. In Ramadan, they do like 100 of it, so that they can get more reward. That is to answer your question. You said, are you right or wrong? So you are not wrong, you are not right, you are individual. Okay. But I think I've educated you on that. That is how it is. So in Ramadan, we do more of this. Now, to the question of what happens to the vulnerables now, that normally, and you're right, they come to the mosque, etc., and they are no longer there. That they are no longer at the front of the mosque does not mean that they are no longer in society. And I want to tell you that by the time they come to the front of the mosque, it's because they feel that all of us are converging there. Some of these people, we know where, yes, easy access. Some of these people, we know where they are. We know their bases. We know that they're in Lafayette. We know where they are, even in our communities, in our street. And that's one thing we want people to understand. In Islam, before you give charity to that person out there, look inward and see that person in here who deserves charity. So there are a lot of people in the community now that serve charity, and they might not even come to ask you. I don't know whether it has happened to you. People that come to ask you for money are people you least expect to ask you for money in this COVID-19, this lockdown.
Yeah.
So the opportunity is there for us being like, okay, let me do. And the Quran made us to understand that giving in Islam is not only when it is pleasurable, even when it is difficult. You know, in difficult time, those that give. Allah went on to say, those that give, they give money out of love of Allah. So these are the conditions you need to psych yourself now, I'm telling you, because nobody has surpluses at home. I have to be honest with you. Nobody at this moment has surpluses at home. So you need to psych yourself with these verses of the Quran, with the reward you are going to get for people to give. So these people are still within the community, that we are not converging at the mosque, as long as they are not there, we know where they are, and people still extend this charity to them where they are. There are people that still cook food and take to them, even in our community. So it's a continuous thing. But no longer converging, yes. But it does not mean they are no longer in society. And we know them. And we still make attempt and tell people too. You know, on the issue of this tafsir, another thing we tell people is, okay, you can do tafsir in your mosque. What government have only said is that, you know, don't gather more than certain numbers. We've been telling them, okay, you can do tafsir in your mosque, maybe do social distancing, 3, 4, 5, you know, few people are in the mosque, social distancing, but use microphone in a way that people in their homes too will listen to the rendition of the Quran and the benefit of, you know, Ramadan. We have been telling them that too, that it's a way. For those that could not afford, like my brother out there said, you know, data, or that could not have access to online, we have been saying in your community, people that normally come to do tafsir at times are living within that same community. So use the microphone, you know, to do it. For those of you that live in the vicinity, you can't move around, but those that live in the vicinity of the mosque can go into the mosque, the stars, the scholar, the resource person that will do it, sit down there and give out this information to people. Let them listen via the microphone out there. So these are the, you know, ingenuity that we have devised for us to ensure that the number of things that we still do before Ramadan, we kept on doing that. But let me tell you, even if these things are not done, it still does not destroy the reward of Ramadan. It doesn't.
Okay. I was coming to a call to prayer time that you mentioned the other time, Ustaz Sanusi.
Yes.
Now, we know that during Ramadan, some converts will be. You have to convert some people to Islam, and you tell them what they should do, and they will wait for this call time, the 5 times prayer time of the day. And we use this mosque microphones to call them, to remind them. At this time, what effort are you putting in place so that this effort of reminding people to go for prayers are not neglected?
Yes. See, this religion is a complete religion. It's a religion that has, you'll be surprised, that has in its practice everything, that has taken care of things even before they start ensuing. Such that when you start seeing some practices in the religion, you start wondering if, was it that, you know, this thing was premeditated, that we're expecting it. But then, the reason for that is not far-fetched. It's a religion of God, and we are creatures of God. And then, if God is asking his creatures to worship him, he already knows what they would encounter from time to time. So he has placed everything in that religion, such that at every point in time, there's no reason or the other for not worshiping Allah or not doing our duties as Muslims. For instance, the call to prayer, there are even reasons beyond COVID-19 where we do call to prayers. And there are approaches of doing call to prayers where you would ask people to stay indoor and not come to the mosque. Like the shower, the storm that we had this morning, that rain was close to a storm. It's not just an ordinary shower. For those of us that saw it, you know, if it were the prayer time that is started, the muazzin in the mosque would add to what is reciting or what is calling out, that those at home should stay within their dwellings and offer their prayers. Okay. Same way as it is now, the call to prayer, if we're not even doing congregational prayers in the mosque, the call to prayers has not stopped. You know, it is expected, because that is why at this point it's important that all leaders of the religion realize that they have a lot more on their hands to do right now. You know, taking away from the question that my brother answered just now. We had the opportunity before now of staying or congregating in the mosque where we could reach the less privileged. But we don't have the opportunity now, and it then means that the duty now falls on the leadership of each community. It's like the religious leadership of each community to be able to identify their members. Identify their members in terms of those that are less privileged, those that are needy, that needs to be reached. Because a time will soon come when that will become very compulsory. When we start doing the Zakat al-Fitri, that will happen towards the tail end of the religion, the tail end of Ramadan rather. For the call to prayer, the stay at home, the COVID-19 situation does not prevent the Muazzin from calling prayers as at when due, to remind those at home to go and observe their prayers. In fact, it should be added that they're not supposed to come to the mosque, they should stay at home and offer their prayers as at when due.
All right, let me still remain with you, Ustaz Sanusi. Yes, I know that some imams who were not so happy, and they are not still too happy, that government is saying that there shouldn't be congregational prayers. They were thinking just limit the numbers, because it is through prayers that we can also ask Almighty Allah to actually take away this pandemic. But some scholars will even say there's nothing strange in what the government have done in terms of social distancing, because in the deeds and sayings, hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that there was one instance where he actually instructed those who have eaten garlic not to join the congregational prayer because of the discomfort it will bring to the other worshippers. So what's your view on this?
Yes, thank you. You've asked that question with an answer. You know, and that's to say that, you know, scholars, well, I don't know. The scholars or the leaders of the religion that feel differently are in a minority, I must tell you that. They're in a minority because the basis of not, you know, feeling too comfortable with that order in itself is not really, you know, founded, to the extent that maybe yes, a lot of us, all of us emotionally, when I started the other time, I also mentioned that there are so many things that we do in this month that we're going to miss naturally. There are so many things, you know, our emotions are tied to religion, because at a point in time in religion, you enjoy the social aspects of the religion. You know, congregating in the mosque has a lot of emotions tied to it. You know, we miss our mosque naturally. Definitely every Muslim, every devout Muslim will miss his mosque, because we look forward to going for prayers. But then, you know, this religion, like I said, also takes care of every facet of life. And if at this point in time, congregating in the mosque would attract more, you know, would do the opposite than giving us good, then it's natural, it's just natural, it's just sensible that we stay away from the mosque at this point in time. Especially when staying away from the mosque is not something that is unfounded in our religion. And that's why I said you have asked that question with an answer. We've had instances, even in the life of the prophets, where for reasons that are not even as critical as the infection or the COVID-19. People have been asking, one of them is one you've just, you know, relayed now, where the prophet asked some people to stay away from the mosque because they hate garlic. And the garlic, you know, the smell of garlic is repulsive. And, you know, for every worshipper, we're existing in Arabic that we call kushu. Kushu is humility, concentration in prayer. It's very, very essential. You know, prayer becomes just a mere physical act if your mind is not there. Sure. So if you come to the mosque with that repulsive, repugnant smell, and you take people's mind off the prayer, it would have affected the prayer. It could even go as far as affecting the leading imam. And that's why the Prophet said people should stay away from. There have been several other reasons why they've been asked to stay away from that, even after the Prophet. You know, in the lives of the Caliph, especially the life of Caliph Umar ibn Khattab, there was a particular period where in, I think, is it in Iran or somewhere, Iraq or Iran, I'm not sure, Nastafullah, where there was an outbreak of a contagious disease like this. And he kept sending leaders there up to the third person. The third person now brought about a concept that brought about healing to that particular area. He asked everybody to leave their dwellings. And when they leave their dwellings, what happened to the mosque? Naturally, they would have left the mosque too. So they left their dwellings, they went into the mountainsides, they went into the valleys, they scattered. They were not gathered or living in a cluster. So what he just did is just scientific. He allowed the pandemic or the disease to play, run its time and die off. Because, diseases, viruses need people as carriers to thrive. And when the carrier are able to get in contact with another person, they pass it on. But the moment one person is out of line and, is with one person, that person maybe salvages, or at worst the person dies and it does not spread it, it ends there. So that was what he did then, and so, that's what they did then is not different from what is ensuing today. So it's not like it's unfounded, it's not like it's baseless for us to leave congregational prayers in the mosque at the moment.
All right, we'll take this break. We'll be back.
Kí àwọn amúmìnì àti múmìnà òdodo ní kí ọlá àti ọlà wípé a kó àmójúbà oṣù alákànlé yìí kí Allah jẹ́ àṣẹ ọ̀pọ̀ rẹ̀ láyé amina. Lásìkò oṣù Ramadan yìí iléeṣẹ́ wa OGTV ní àǹfààní ọ̀tun lòún gbé kalẹ̀ fún àwa tá à ń ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ ètò lóríṣiríṣi àtàwa tá à ń gbèrò rẹ̀. Àwọn ètò wa bíi Al-Qur'an Hakim, ọba oníbọ̀ọ̀rẹ́, Ramadan ìṣojú ẹ̀mí, ìpèsè ìrun, Nurul Haq, ẹja musari àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Wípé kò sí lílọ bíbọ̀ ọkọ̀ àti wípé kò sí pípéjọ sójú kan kò ní ká má ṣe wáàsí fáwọn èèyàn wa nílé. Iléeṣẹ́ OGTV ti wà ń kalẹ̀. Èyí la ṣe pinnu wípé oníwáàsí lè wá sí iléeṣẹ́ wa OGTV láti wá ṣe wáàsí kí àwọn èèyàn wa sì máa wò wọ́n rekete nílé wọn kí wọ́n sì máa kẹ́kọ̀ọ́, tàbí kí iléeṣẹ́ wa kàn síbi tẹ́ ẹ bá wà láti gbé yín sórí iléeṣẹ́ wa fún wáàsí yín. Fún àlàyé sí ẹ kàn sáwọn iléeṣẹ́ wa nílùú Èkó, Ìjẹ̀bú-Òde, Ṣàgámù, Ọ̀tà tàbí olúléeṣẹ́ wa OGTV tó wà ní kìlómítà 9 Bísí ọ̀nà Bánjọ lọ́nà tó lọ sí Ajébọ̀, Abẹ́òkúta, ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn, tàbí kí ẹ pe àwọn nọ́mbà yìí. Kí Allah jẹ́ àṣẹ ọ̀pọ̀ rẹ̀ láyé o. Amina. Ramadan Kareem.
Yeah, we're still looking at Ramadan in the face of COVID-19, and we have our guests in-house, Ustaz Jubril Lawal, and of course, Ustaz Kozim Shanusi. Let me come to Ustaz Jubril Lawal. Yes, when anything that happens to a Muslim, it is always believed that it is with the knowledge of Almighty Allah. So it doesn't matter whether you are a Muslim or not, it's happening to the whole world. And Muslims are supposed to believe that, this is what Allah brought, and that with some relevant things that you should do, coupled with what government or the WHO said you should do, it will just come to pass. So if you panic as a Muslim and you have the Quran, because there is a pandemic, people say it is because you don't know what to do. What should we do at this time?
Oh, thank you so much. The issue of the pandemic, Ta'un, as is known in Arabic parlance, in the culture of our religion, plague when it happens in any community. There are, basic steps that we need to take in Islam. We have explained some of these steps. So a number of the things we have been told to do didn't really come as a shock to us. We kept on saying that. Yes, we had some argument at the initial stage because we're not too sure where it was coming from and why it was coming. So the conspiracy theory made some of us to feel that these people, I can't really trust them. But when eventually we realized that, okay, this thing is real, people are dying, we now need to look into the pages of our Quran, and we are never left unguided. That's what Allah said in the Quran. We have not left anything untouched in the Quran. And we looked at what has happened to people of the past. Plague normally is not new in human society, so we came up with it. Now, regarding your question, two things are advised by Muslim scholars, which is also in the Quran. When issues come to you, there are two ways you look at it. Look at it from the spiritual angle and the physical angle. Then we tell people to take care of both. Number one is there is a prayer, or there are a lot of line of prayers that the Prophet told us to be uttering, to be rendering when we have issues like this. So first and foremost, what we did was to roll out such prayers to people. I remember that at Kobiti in Abeokuta here, the League of Men and Alpha had a program in conjunction with the WHO and the Ministry of Health of Ogun State about the pandemic. It was not a pandemic then. It was even not in Nigeria, but we felt people need to have information, and the program came up. And we told them, okay, this is the first one to do prayer. Number two is, let's follow what experts have told us to follow. The things they told us medically and not expert. Let us ensure that we are there with those ones. And then as at that time, even locking of mosque was not an issue. We were still praying in our mosque. Then the thing you now ask regarding panic, a Muslim ordinarily should not panic. A Muslim ordinarily knows that death will come when Allah says it's going to come. So he shouldn't be scared. What he only needs to do is to take caution. And taking caution and panicking are two different things. You are asked to take caution. Do this thing that you need to do normally, but don't panic. And there are a lot of verses of the Quran that will tell you that whatever Allah says is going to happen to you will happen to you, but not because of that you become fatalistic in your faith. I mean, Allah says, if I will die, I will die. Then you now stand in front of a moving train. That's not the kind of thing you have been asked to do. So take precautions. But know that whatever Allah says will happen to you, will happen to you. Then don't panic. Then went on to tell people that, well, I don't know whether for this medium, there are some prophetic medicine that the Prophet advised us aforetime, that when we take them, it boosts our immunity. Like, it's been read in a lot of places, Abatu Sauda and etc. We told them, keep on doing this, and a lot of other things that we said, keep on doing this. These are what the Prophet told us. And when you do all this, if eventually it happens that you passed on to the great beyond because of this, know that it is because Allah wants to make you a martyr. Because whoever passes on in a plague as a Muslim, when a plague attacks any community and a Muslim passes on to the great beyond, answers the great call, that person dies as a martyr. That's what we are told. So we tell people, even if eventually it happens to be death, eventually it becomes fatal for you, don't worry. Allah told us that it's, you die as a martyr, you're a shaheedi. So don't see it as something extraordinary out of place. These are the kind of things we've been doing, telling people to ensure that panic does not set into their life.
Ustaz Sanusi, I want to talk about the belief of people about this COVID-19. Okay. Do you think the people need to believe now that COVID-19 is real? And how serious should they take them, especially Muslims, now in the month of Ramadan?
Well, I don't. The reason to believe is not different, even before Ramadan or after Ramadan. There's no difference, because truth is, one of the tenets of our religion is for us to listen to our Creator, our prophets, and our leaders. And one of those ways is by believing in some of the realities that comes with this religion, because it's true. Your question is not unfounded, because if you go to the society now, especially for the not too learned side of the society, there's this attitude, there's this body language of, well, it's not as bad as they say it is. You have people saying those sort of things. You have them saying, like he was trying to correct now, what will kill us will kill us, and we shouldn't bother ourselves. And you have people even going as far as saying that if you eat a lot of pepper, if you drink hot drink, hot gin or whatever, it would. But like I said, the responsibility of community leaders now, and religious leaders, and the enlightened ones in society now is to go out there and ensure that there's a general understanding, there's a general and collective understanding of the danger of not following the rules as to how to prevent the spread of this. Because this morning, this was in the news, the chairman of the task force, the presidential task force, you know, Boss Mustafa, said it clearly that the responsibility towards stopping COVID-19 in Nigeria is now in the hands of the populace. So it means that, yes.
They should take care of themselves.
Yes, because the truth is that, you know, the relaxation of that, the lockdown, comes with, you know, it comes with mixed reactions now, because for some people, yes, good, this thing is not too friendly. But for some people, it's also dangerous, because you know the attitude of people. What it may encourage or engender is this lackadaisical attitude to everything, and, you know, bring about an attitude of not wanting to follow up or follow truly on the rules as was being done hitherto, because we're on a lockdown. Because if we have this atmosphere of we are now free, we can do as we like, you know, it may boomerang in our face. So I think it's responsible of us now, because it's not just one person's thing. You can't lock up your door or lock up yourself and say you're safe in a pandemic. It's the responsibility of everybody, viewers out there listening to us now, to try and do whatever to do to enlighten people. Wherever is around you, you do it. You, like, personally, I remember when we were asked to lock up our mosques and couldn't do congregational prayers. I remember that I had to stand in my community with a microphone and educate everybody as to why we, not just Muslims now, you know, educate everybody, because everybody could hear me from the public address system, why we should follow through on those social distancing rules, washing of our hands, and all the necessary guidelines towards preventing the spread of this disease.
Okay, we're almost running off this program. Let me come to Sir Zubair. This year's Ramadan did not come without its, even though not expected, controversy, so to say, especially in Nigeria, especially in the Southwest.
Why do you want to think that politics, for God's sake?
We know that some people started on Thursday. Just about 3 to 4 days to Ramadan, some people said, this is where Ramadan will start. And of course, some came and said, we are going to start our own on Saturday. And it stood. Then on Friday, we saw the Sultan, which we all thought should be the mouthpiece for all Muslims in Nigeria, under the guise of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, so to say, making a broadcast that the moon has been sighted. So my question now is, I don't know, should it be, okay, I'm not going to put you into any politics, but just to educate us, what did the Quran say about the commencement of Ramadan, so that our viewers will actually know that, okay, you have the right to follow whoever you want to follow, but believe whatever you want to believe. There's nothing wrong about followership. But they will decide, because those watching are also wise people. I'm not asking you to go into the politics, but telling us what the Quran says.
Thank you so much. However you put that question, I'm already on a hot seat. But the truth of the matter is, you have helped me out at the end of it all. What did the Quran say? What is the standard way of starting fasting? You see, this year Ramadan, it brought a lot of controversy, not even within Nigeria, even outside Nigeria. Even a lot of people have reason to question and query the Saudis and the way it started. But let me put it this way. It is not likely that every Muslim in the world will start their fasting the same day. It's not likely. We need to educate people about that. Okay. This geographical thing. Like we are now in Nigeria, we are AM now. Somewhere in America, they are still maybe in the night. In China and Japan and the Asian continent, they are in the afternoon or they are about going to the evening. I mean, so all of us cannot, you know, sight the moon at the same time. So that is why you have this difference of one day or thereabout. We need to explain that to people. But ordinarily within Nigeria, that shouldn't have been the case. What did the Quran say? The hadith of the Prophet was clear. No, let me start with the Quran. Allah said in the Quran, "Man shahida minkum shaharan faliyasimuhu." Whoever amongst you witnesses that month, and you know, shahida shaharan, scholars have interpreted to mean when the moon comes, you have sighted the moon fast. Now, but the hadith of the Prophet was so clear on this, and it said, "Sumu li ra'atihi," fast when you see it. Waftaru, and break your fast when you see it. And people say, see what? That is the moon, the crescent of Ramadan and the crescent of Shawwal. So that is the standard practice. But Quran went on to say that in case you cannot cite it, to Kimil al-Aida, count and complete. The month of Islam is either 29 or 30. It is 29 when the moon is sighted. Now, what is the moon sighting? The cost of a normal moon is just 28 days. Normal moon moves within 28. That is known by everybody. But it will hide behind, the shadow of the earth for 1 or 2 days. So on the 29th night, seeing that crescent is possible. But if you don't see it, the Prophet said it won't take more than 2 days. So make it 30 and commence a new month. That is the standard Islam. So sighting of the moon to commence Ramadan is the best. And in Nigeria, that was what we did. The Sultan didn't say, no, what he only said was, start looking out for the crescent of Ramadan from so-so date. At least he went on to say, this is what the rule says, comply with it. And I feel that if all of us want to really do it the way our God asks us to do it, that to me sounds, very, very good. May Allah bless us.
Amen. Okay, thank you. That's the way we want to actually end the program. It's been wonderful having two wonderful guests in-house. Ustaz Jubil Awal, Missioner Islamic Youth League. Thank you very much for always heeding to our call when we call you. This is another lovely one. Of course, Ustaz Kazim Shanusi. This should be your first time here.
On this program.
On this program. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for coming. And so it's going to be talking about this was the edition, the last edition for the program, Newdaw on OGTV Charity. Yeah.
And we tell our people that they should be safe out there. COVID-19 is real and a lot of pandemic. People should not panic at all. Keep safe, keep your home tidy, keep everywhere clean, and Nigeria will overcome it. We'll see you next week.
Of course, on behalf of Charity, I say Masalam. See you again next Wednesday. Bye for now.
Bye.